Hi, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. So, over the next week, I'm going to be doing something very exciting. Well, it feels very exciting to me. And I'm going to be taste testing the Library of Allenxandria and see if he actually has a good taste in books and whether we should trust Alan's reviews. So, Alan, I will link his channel everywhere. He's one of my really great friends that I've met on booktube, and he knows that I'm doing this and that I'm going to be reading some of his favourite books. So I would highly recommend checking out his channel. He is hilarious. He is so funny and just a great guy, and his channel is amazing. Like, his video content, I don't know how he does it. So over the next week or so, I'm going to be reading some of his favourite books. I know that overall our tastes roughly should align because we have both loved The Poppy Walk, we have both loved Foundry Side, we have both really enjoyed Jade City. So in theory, we should match up. We should enjoy the same books. So I'm going to be reading his favourite books, which you probably all know, and they are Boosh! The Traitor's Blade, or The Great Coats by Sebastian de Castell, which, as we all know, is Alan's favourite book. And Boosh! Armour the Sphinx by Josiah Bancroft, which is the second book in the Senlin Ascends, The Tower of Babel series. I will also be reading The Call of Cthulhu, which is a Lovecraft novella, just so that we can have three. So I will let you know the plots of these as and when I get into them as the week goes by, and hopefully our tastes will align and we should all trust Alan's reviews. But if not, we all know that he says it himself, he's a 5-star strumpet, so maybe we shouldn't be trusting Alan. But I will try and embrace everything Alan this week by learning some Latin and reading his books, his favourite books, and we'll go from there. Okay, so part of me just wants to break into song like Alan does and do like a let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Because that's what I'm doing, I'm getting down to business and reading these books. So I have started with The Traitor's Blade, or I just want to call it The Great Coats because that's how I've been referring to it as. And I'm 50 pages in, and so far we're just getting to grips with all the characters. So Falcio, who every time I see his name I just think of something rude, and I'm sorry, Falcio. And in this world, the king has died 5 years ago, or the king was murdered 5 years ago, and the Great Coats, which were like not the army, but like his the justice system, have been shamed, and so they're now like rejected by society, and you have like these nobles that are just corrupt. And I can see why Alan likes this, because Alan loves justice, and Alan's like fighting for the people, and like everyone should be honourable. And I know that Alan is very much like pro all of that, so I can see why he really like responds to these characters and he really likes them, because they're championing morals that he likes. Do you hear the people sing the song of angry men? So I'm 50 pages in, and so far so good. I don't think I can really comment on how I'm feeling about it just yet. It's still very early stages. Happy Sunday. So I am continuing my reading Alan's favourite books, and I managed to get to page about 150 yesterday of Traitor's Blade, and I've read another 50 pages this morning, so I'm currently on page 198. And yesterday I was sort of feeling, it wasn't quite gelling with me, and there wasn't any reason why, I just couldn't quite connect with it. Maybe I was tired, I don't know, but the 50 pages that I read this morning I enjoyed a lot more. So hopefully that's positive and we're on the up. It might have just been like a rough start. And there was a scene at the very beginning, like 50 pages in, which was just a bit graphic, and it just felt a bit thrown in there and a bit unnecessary, and just I mean, I don't know how it affects the rest of the plot, but it caught me out of the blue, and I will put the trigger warning in the description box. I can completely see why Alan really, really likes this book. I can understand why he would love it. He wants the world to be a better place, and I can completely see how that is portrayed in this. And also their coats are quite cool. So he was right in that the coats are cool coats. I mean, I was wanting like a coat that could make people fly or invisible, and they're not quite that cool, but they are quite cool for coats. Did I just see the word fae in this? Fae? This is just perfect for ACOTAR loving Alan. Like, fae in the greatcoats and fae in ACOTAR. Like, Alan, no wonder you're loving ACOTAR so much. I am definitely enjoying this second half so much more than the first half. Maybe I was in a funk yesterday, but this second half is definitely much stronger. I don't know, I think the plot's a lot more interesting, it's a lot more like action-packed, you've got to know the characters better. So yes, I'm feeling a lot more positive about it today. I don't feel like I'm forcing myself to read it so much. And I have 100 pages left. There was a nice part that I read where they were talking about the greatcoats, where their greatest power was their judgment. And I quite liked that, how they were saying that everyone can have power, like anyone can wield a sword, anyone can do that, but not everyone has the right of the law and the right of their judgment on their side. So I quite liked that little section. Finished work for the day. I'm quite tired, but I just thought I would say that I finished Traitor's Blade last night, so I finished the last 50 pages, and I wasn't a massive fan of the ending. I'm so sorry, Alan. Like, I wasn't a massive fan of the beginning. I felt like it picked up in the middle, and I quite enjoyed the middle of the book, and then I wasn't a fan of the ending.
Oh no!
I know from watching Alan's review of it that he says that the ending is that it will all seem like it just happens and it's all too easy, and then it all makes sense in book 2, that there is reasons behind it all. And he does say that a lot of people do give up after book 1 because of the way it ends, and don't continue on to book 2 and 3 to realise that actually there's a lot more going on. So because of what he said, I want to continue to see what I'm missing, but there are just some parts which really grated on me. So there was a scene at the beginning of the book that I mentioned, which just felt a bit graphic and unnecessary, and then there was this scene towards the end of the book, and I was like, what is going on here? Like, how is this even allowed, published, written? And I talked to Alan about it, and he did say, he was like, oh, just ignore that bit, just pretend it didn't happen. And I was like, just pretend the bad bits of the book aren't happening. Yeah, I mean, he did say that he likes the book even more upon reflection from future books, so maybe we will see. At the moment I'm a bit on the fence of whether I want to continue or not. I'm going to give it 3 stars, and I'm so sorry, Alan. I thought we were going to, I had high hopes for this. I thought that I would really like it because you'd hyped it up so much. Oh no, this hasn't started off the way I wanted it to. Okay, well, that's now finished, and we will be moving on, hopefully, to better and brighter things. Well, I don't know if it's necessarily brighter, but I'm going to read the Lovecraft novella tonight. So I'm going to start the Call of Cthulhu this evening, and you can see my very old Kindle. if you're in the UK, this is currently 99p on Kindle. It's the whole Lovecraft collection. So I guess if I like it, I can keep reading some more of his other works and see how we go. Because I've got his whole collection now. I've got choices, but Alan has told me to go with Call of Cthulhu. I don't know anything about it apart from that it's horror, so very appropriate for the month of October. I know that Lovecraft isn't necessarily isn't the best person, and some of his views, I guess, were a product of their time, but he's I haven't looked into all of what he's said and everything. I just know that he isn't necessarily someone that you would want to support, but I think you're meant to like look at his works and know that they are like a cornerstone of horror, and realise that his views would not work today. So I will be starting this, well, not quite now, I'm going to be starting this evening, and I will let you know how I feel about it probably tomorrow, and then I will start Arm of the Sphinx. So it's the end of another working day in my week of reading like Alan, and I've been quite slumpy this week. I've just been very tired, so I've not been reading at my best, and but I have been making progress, and I'm off tomorrow, so I'll be able to read Friday, Saturday, Sunday and finish this all off. So I finished The Call of Cthulhu, the Lovecraft short story, and I don't know how to feel about it. So I was reading it on Tuesday night, and I just couldn't read anything. My brain was reading the sentence, and it was like, do these words even make sense in that order? Like, is that even a logical sentence? And I was like, is this me? Is this the book? Like, is it meant to be a short story? I'm meant to be able to read this really quickly. And so I messaged Alan, and Alan actually said, he goes, well, he is a pretentious prick, and his writing's very dense. And I was like, yes, Alan, it's very dense. So I gave up Tuesday night, and I did finish it yesterday on Wednesday, and it was a lot better with a fresh head. That you definitely need to go in with your brain working full capacity, because when you're tired, I don't think tiredness and Lovecraft should go together. They are not a good combination. And I still don't know how I feel about it, because it's dense, for one. For two, there was some quite heavy racism in it. Like, Lovecraft was very derogatory towards anyone who wasn't white, and that was just through the whole novella. And I was like, it's only a novella. How could he fit so much horribleness into so many few pages? And it also felt like something that you would read for school. Like, it felt as though I wasn't clever enough for it. Like a lot of it, I think, went just over my head. And I feel as though I don't know if it was me or if I'm just not critical enough. It felt like I would have got a lot more out of it if I had read it as a text in school and would have been able to analyse exactly what everything meant. But reading it just for pleasure, I felt as though I missed out on a lot of things in it. But I do feel as though it was a worthwhile piece to read. Like, I feel as though I now understand so much more of the horror genre, that it feels as though a lot of horror works are based on it or have taken it as inspiration. So to have read it and now understand where, well, not the beginnings of horror, but where all this inspiration and influence comes from, is a very good grounding block. So in some ways I'm very happy that I read it, because it gives me a great basis for the horror genre. I wasn't scared because I was finding the writing quite dense. But so I really don't know how to rate it, because I've got all these criticisms, but then I'm still happy that I read it. So is it a 2 stars? 3 stars? I don't know. I feel very conflicted on what rating to give Lovecraft, The Call of Cthulhu. Happy I read it. Not sure if I'm going to read more Lovecraft, but I have now started Arm of the Sphinx by Josiah Bancroft. And this is the second book in the Senlin Ascends Towers of Babel series. I read the Senlin Ascends a couple of months ago now because of Alan, and I liked it okay. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. Overall I enjoyed it, but I've had some faults with it, and I felt as though as Senlin is climbing the tower, it just felt like a video game, that he was just going from level to level, and I wanted a bit more than that, rather than just feeling like you're leveling up. So Alan said that book 2 doesn't feel like that it's different, that it doesn't feel as though this whole theme that I wasn't a fan of isn't prevalent in book 2. And I'm 100 pages in, and I'm really enjoying it. So far, so good. So good. And it's set on a pirate ship. Like, already the setting is A+. Pirate ship. And Alan has told me that there's a magical library in this. And as you know, well, if you've seen my video on magical libraries, then you'll know that magical libraries are a thing that I love. Like, just that setting in a fantasy library. Oh, so I haven't quite got to that fantasy library yet, but I am so excited to get there. And I'm enjoying the characters and all the interactions, and yes, so finally enjoying a book that Alan has recommended to me. Alan, my faith in you is being restored because of Arm of the Sphinx. Like, I was on a bit of a low with Lovecraft and Greatcoats, but Arm of the Sphinx is coming through, and it's all on the up. And yeah, so I'm 100 pages in so far, and I will be reading this over the next few days. Relief that there is some positivity and that me and Alan can stay friends. I have finished Arm of the Sphinx, so my final book in my Reading Like Alan for the week, and it was, as Alan would say, so good.
They're so good. They're so good.
I really enjoyed it, and I think the setting I liked a lot more than in the first book. So there was bits on a pirate ship, like a flying pirate ship. There was a magical library, and the characters as well were much more developed in the second book, that you, as well as following Senlin, you also follow some of the other protagonists, and I felt like that made the story much rounder. So instead of just having the one perspective, you also had everyone else, and you got to know them so much better and feel for them and feel for everything. And the ending was really strong. Like, those last 50 pages, I was like, what is going to happen here? I enjoy this much more than the first book. I don't think I'm quite a Senlin super fan as Alan is. I'll leave him with that crown. But I did enjoy it, and I'm going to give it 4 stars. There were just some moments where it didn't quite gel with me so much, that it's not always the fun. It's a very character-driven book. So, and there is plot, but I don't know. I just don't get the 5-star feeling. I can appreciate it and see how good it is, but it doesn't give me the wow feels, apart from those last 50 pages. But I will definitely be continuing with The Hod King, probably next year, so that I don't have too long to wait between The Hod King and the 4th book coming out. But yes, thank you for the recommendation, Alan. I really enjoyed this, and it's great to finish on a high. Also, coincidentally, I've been listening to the audiobook of Akatar this week. Well, I just finished it this week, or today, just in preparation for the next book coming out in February, and I thought I would reread each book leading up to that. And yeah, I coincidentally finished it today. So Absolutely loved ACOTAR, or should I call it A Court of So and Good. Thank you, Sam, for making this, because it is hilarious and amazing. Alan, I hope you love ACOTAR. I really do. I hope it's your new favourite book. But for me, I can see it's flawed, but I love Sarah J Maas. So to wrap us up for the week, I have read a 2-star, which was The Call of Cthulhu. I'm still a bit unsure about what to rate that, but I think the negatives outweigh the positives. So 2 stars for The Call of Cthulhu, 3 stars for Traitor's Blade, 4 stars for Arm of the Sphinx, and my 5-star ACOTAR just thrown in there. So a great range for the whole week, but I read a whole load of ratings. So, Alan, some of your recommendations are a hit and some of them not so much, but it's a mixed bag. So maybe, is he a 5-star strumpet? No, I just think our tastes slightly differ, so we're not the same person, but I will obviously trust Alan for recommendations and will forever be watching his channel because he is amazing. I hope you have enjoyed this vlog and your time with me reading Alan's favourite books, and I hope that you will go away and read Alan's books, because even if they weren't for me, they could be for you. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!